All right, so this guy Alex Way, he lost his AI, or sorry, he lost his freelancing job to AI. If you guys haven't heard, there's been quite a few of these cases like recently. I watched another one about it was like a month ago, and this dude, he basically his company had him train an AI model on how to make his like GFX for his company, and then fired him. So we'll see what this guy's story is, and then kind of talk about what's going on with AI and what the future of it might be. And yeah, let's just go into it.
I have something I wanted to talk about. I wasn't sure if I should, but fuck it. If you've watched my channel for a while now, you'll know that I talk about how I do freelance work and I have a few different gigs that I do. And one of them, which I believe I've mentioned before, is that I do freelance writing. There's this one company that I've worked with for a few years now, and basically I would write blog articles for them. And how else can I say it? Recently, I lost this job to AI. I didn't actually get fired. It's not like they came to me and said, yo, we're replacing you with AI. Just put the fries in the bag, little bro. Because
No, it's a contracting job. They probably just stopped giving him contracts.
you don't really get fired from a freelance gig. It's more so a matter of whether or not they need you and whether or not they'll keep assigning you tasks. And I haven't been assigned anything recently. In the past few months, they've been pretty quiet, which is obviously unusual because I would usually get around 3 to 4
Yeah, because AI
articles a
can do
month
what he
for
was
them.
doing for free and instantly. You don't have to worry about deadlines. You don't have to worry about like spelling errors. You don't have to worry about oh man, what else? Oh, I guess that's probably it. But paying people.
Right? It wasn't the main source of my income, but it was a decent chunk of it, and just a nice little side hustle I had going. In fact, I'd been working with them since back in college, just to make some money on the side. But anyways, it was like I
Yeah,
haven't
this
heard from
sucks.
them for a while, and they haven't been giving me new articles to write, so I was curious. One day I decided to go look on their website, check out their blog section, just to, see what's going on. Like, did they just stop publishing blog articles because they're focusing on other aspects of the business? Maybe they're hiring new people to write it. Maybe I just didn't do a good enough job. Maybe they just slowed down a bit since we're reaching the end of the year and the holiday season and all of that. But when I actually clicked on the blog page for their site, I was kind of shocked to see what I saw. Just for more context though, I did know that they worked with other freelance writers, but most of the articles on their site were written by me. I'd say like 60 to 70%
This dude was basically running the site.
them at least. Like I said, it would be around 3 to 4 per month from me, 1 or 2 maybe from a different writer, and that would come out to about one new blog article per week published on their site at best, typically even a little less because it takes some extra time to actually get it published. And again, this is from the combined effort of me and these other writers. But this time when I checked their blog section of the website, I saw that they had like 4 full-length blog articles, all published within 1 week, and obviously none of them were from me. So it looked like they're just pumping out articles en masse, and they were pretty good quality too. So it's like, okay, I see what you're doing. They literally went from like a few blog posts a month, maybe once a week at best, to like I think 4 in a single week. And
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I
pretty
wish I could see this site. I don't know. I've never really looked at like blog sites and stuff like that. Uh, but that's a lot more ad revenue.
Yeah, that's a pretty big improvement. And obviously this was coming from AI. The reason why I know that, even though they didn't specifically say like, oh, we're doing this, is because I was actually warned about it beforehand. I know that this company has been experimenting with AI tools for a while now, and what happened was that earlier in the year, they actually told
So he
me
knew
that
this was gonna
as like
happen.
a reason to lower my pay, they actually asked me to switch over to creating AI generated
That's on you, bro. You
articles
should have
for
done
a
it.
much lower rate. They were saying like, hey, a lot of companies are using AI now. We were thinking about doing the same, but we still want to keep you around, have you as part of the team. But instead, we can just have you be the one generating these AI blog posts with a little bit of human edits here and there, and we'll still pay you, but at a lower rate. And obviously I didn't want to do that. I still wanted to make my money, so I sort of negotiated. At the time, I guess they still needed me, so we just kept the same rate for my original articles, and that's how it was going until recently. But it always was in the back of my mind that they could replace me with AI at any
Yeah, and they were probably planning on it as soon as you said no. So,
time if they really wanted to.
like,
That's
I don't know. It kind of sounds like they reached out an olive branch, and you're like, nope.
just the nature of the business, and it's just hard to compete with AI nowadays. And it's not even like I wasn't using any AI to begin with either. Like even with my original articles that I'd write, I'd basically do the rough draft on my own, but I still would use like ChatGPT and ask them, hey, can you help me polish it up and fix any
So,
typos, replace.
so he already used AI, but he didn't want to use AI for more of it because of some sort of creative pride. I don't. It sucks. I mean, it kind of sucks. This whole situation is like, for anybody who does anything with some sort of creative content, it- GFX, SFX, writing. I mean, drawing. Like, soon, I'm pretty sure animating is probably going to be on there as well. It probably already is to a pretty big extent, but I don't know that much about it. Uh, all of these people, like, they went through college, they went through like degree plans, and they're just gonna be out of a job soon. I think even to an extent, developers. Like, I think a lot of developers are gonna be not redundant, but I think that your average program is gonna need a lot less people to write and maintain because AI can do the workload of a lot more people than just one.
Any phrasing that you might think is awkward or that kind of stuff. So I was in part using AI as well because it saved me some time and made the writing a lot better. If you don't know already, ChatGPT, and especially like the paid version of it, it's extremely
Mm-hmm.
powerful. It can do a lot of stuff, and I've experimented with it. The company I work with, they've experimented with it, and it can generate literally entire 1,000-word blog articles within seconds, all for free basically. So it's like, how can I compete with that? Honestly, I don't blame them for using AI instead of having to pay me a decent amount of money. Like, if I were running a company, I'd probably also do the same. If I
I don't know. I also think that there's going to be like a niche for, I don't want to say like the king will have his artist, but pretty much that. Yeah, like rich people are going to hire personal artists to have like authentic artwork. So like there is still going to be a market for that, right? Including like works of writing and works of fiction and stuff like that. But I mean, if you told ChatGPT to write something like Harry Potter right now, it's probably going to push out something that you wouldn't really be able to distinguish from something that like a human wrote.
if I wanted to maximize my profits. It sucks, but that's just the way it is. Like in the past, there would be this whole workflow for getting an article published. I would get an article briefing assigned to me. I would usually finish up a
Mm-hmm.
draft, splitting up the work over
What was
the
that?
course of a draft. Article briefing assigned to me. This whole workflow for get.
Type one sentence about writing an article on ChatGPT. Read it. Read the article that it pushes out. Finding images, it depends. You can generate images, but they're not always like very good. Uh, that's still there. Update content tracker, whatever. Yeah, pretty much all of this is replaceable.
Getting an article published. I would get an article briefing assigned to me. I would usually finish up a draft, splitting up the work over the course of a few days, maybe like 5 to 6 hours total. Then I would send my draft back for revisions. They would send it back to me saying like, hey, there's some parts that we want you to change. I would make some final edits, and all of that would happen before the article could get published. So it would be about a week-long process back and forth, and they paid me a decent amount. But now with AI, they can again generate an article. Let's just say 80 to 90% of the quality of that, but they can do it within seconds, minutes at most, and
Yep.
don't have to pay ChatGPT aside from whatever subscription cost it might be. And it's not even just ChatGPT, by the way. That's just what I use, what most people use. But there's so many different AIs now, some of them in
Hmm.
specialized areas. Like, for
Yeah, they just came
example,
out
the
with
platform that I would use to write my
DeepSeek.
articles was this thing called Phrase. I don't know, maybe if you're also in the freelance writing space, you might be familiar with it. But it's essentially like a platform where, as you write, it helps you keep track of SEO, keywords, and other important things. But earlier this year, I believe, it came out with their own generative AI, which can also just write an entire article within the click of a button. But they're also specialized in incorporating SEO.
So this is kind of like he saw this coming from a mile away. It's not like this is not a surprise to him at all.
Keywords and stuff like that. So yeah, I've said it a lot of times before, but just from the market standpoint, how can I compete with that as a human being who needs much more money and much.
This is like the cold reality of a situation like this. Uh, and this is not saying I'm not devaluing the effort that somebody puts into creating something. But you gotta find something else. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, it it really sucks because like a lot of people went to college for like GFX. A lot of people went to college for like software development and things like that. And those jobs at Silicon Valley, I don't think that they're gonna be holding on a lot.
More time for that. This is just where the world is going, it seems. Like, again, maybe in terms of quality, I can write an article just as good, even better. But asking me to do it over the course of a few days and overall a week versus AI doing it within a few seconds
Mm-hmm.
for really no money at all, it's an easy choice if you're the one who's running the business. I get it. And nowadays, if you're in really any industry where AI is playing a role, you're not only just competing against like ChatGPT or one specific AI. There are just so many different programs nowadays. AIs are competing against each other and making that even a saturated market. All of the companies behind them are competing with each other to try to make the best AI. So these kinds of tools are only going to become more powerful as we head further and further into the future. So I don't know. Maybe I'm cooked. Maybe we're cooked. Just time to put the fries in the bag, I guess. But
Put
yeah,
the
it's
fries in
like
the bag. No, AI is gonna do that soon. Um, I don't know. Man, I gotta stop saying so much. AI, it, it's only really gonna take creative jobs, and jobs that require a lot of like anything like data entry. I think is gonna be just out the window. You can agree with it, you can disagree with it. I don't think it really matters. But I would try to stay away from anything that has basically any inkling that AI could take over from it, right? Uh, so, I mean, don't get into anything creative like content creation, I guess, like I'm doing right now.
can you not be at least a little bit concerned? Because AI is coming to even the jobs that require some level of human creativity, like writing. It's crazy that ChatGPT can even do that now. I can try my best, but can't possibly compete with the pure efficiency of it, and neither can anyone really. So maybe
Hmm.
I just got unlucky. Maybe this isn't something you'll have to worry about. Maybe it'll never happen to you. I hope it never does. But I'm kind of curious though, like if something similar has happened to you where your job or at least part of it has been replaced by AI. Feel free to share it in the comments because I'd really be interested in hearing that. But
I don't know. I mean, I feel kind of
overall,
bad for this guy, but
I just want
he's
to
got a
share
pretty
my
successful
experience.
YouTube channel.
I'm
So.
not making this video to say like, oh, you should feel bad for me. I'm so sad now I lost my job. Again, like I have other sources of income as well since I'm sort
That's
of
fair.
just like hustling and I did kind of see it coming. This company sort of tried to warn me about it in advance, which is at least better than just like cutting me off immediately. But yeah, it's just something to keep in the back of your mind, like AI is here now. Your time has come, buddy. But I hope just on a societal level we can figure something out. And just on a personal level, one more thing I wanted to say. Maybe you can take this even as advice if it's something you happen to agree with. But at least what I've noticed is that the only way to make sure that you won't be replaced in whatever you do is to make yourself irreplaceable. For example, a job I would say that's irreplaceable is like being an athlete or something, or even some other forms of like manual labor, because we don't literally have.
I don't know. What's that movie about the robots that fought? I don't know if being an athlete is irreplaceable. um, he has a really good point. So that's especially even in these professions that I'm talking about right now, like we're talking software engineering, we're talking like writing, we're talking GFX, SFX, uh, animation, things like that. You can put yourself into a position where you're the one using the AI, and if you don't do that, I think that that's when you're gonna start looking at a lot of trouble, right? Um, and I also think if you've ever like actually looked at AI, as long as you like check it, it's a really good learning tool. So if you are trying to like basically teach yourself anything, you can learn Python, you can learn C++. AI will make it leagues better than any other teaching techniques that we had before. So there's a lot of good opportunities and a lot of bad things that are going to come from it. And I'm sure this guy will find some other freelance gigs.